Loads of it. The expansion.
indeed.
The big return of The Witcher 3. I haven't played much Witcher 3, but if I had, should I be excited about
I
this?
think you'd very much enjoy it, Simon. Hearts of Stone is it's I suppose calling it DLC in a way does it a bit of a disservice.
That's why I changed it to expansion. It's massive,
like an
right?
expansion,
It's huge.
yeah.
The point is it's got its own retail release.
I think it's got like 10 hours of story content. It adds side stuff as well. It adds basically a lot of new story to the existing landscape.
Right, so it doesn't take you off off to the right.
No,
it carries
no,
on
no,
straight
no.
forward.
It teases you as if it's going to, and then it doesn't. But it's so this is kind of like I don't know, what would you call it, like a soft expansion. So it's adding content. It's not adding world.
Not like what's it called? The Oblivion one that was huge.
Shivering
It's
Isles.
not like Shivering
This
Isles.
is Knights of the Nine.
This is perfect. There we go.
Shivering Isles is coming later.
Right, okay, cool. There you go.
So the last big expansion will be a new landscape and everything.
Yeah.
But for now, I played about 2-3 hours of it at a preview event, and I'm looking forward to getting into it properly, really.
Yeah.
It was a bit strange because it's one of these expansions where you can play it without having completed the base game. It just
I like that though. I hate things, because you may just want a new experience. You don't
well,
want
yeah,
to have to trawl
exactly.
through
I
stuff
mean, you
you've
might
done
be like,
before.
no, I got a bit bored of The Witcher. I'm going to
Yeah.
try this out. You can basically tell the game, I want to play this expansion only, and it'll give you a Geralt who's like level 32 and
Yeah.
give you lots of points to distribute. So you are the kind of the requisite level to play the expansion properly, because it is a high level expansion. There's a lot of hard stuff in there.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it, and of course it is more Witcher 3, which is what people will be going for, so that's good, right?
Yeah.
But it does things. It's like they're having a bit more fun with the character, because it's the same kind of bleak world and the same kind of like everything's horrible. Like the world of The Witcher is
Well,
horrible.
The Witcher is quite horrible. He's a man for hire.
Yeah.
And he'll kind of do whatever you want him to do.
Geralt's an asshole. Everyone he meets is an asshole
Yeah.
until he kills them.
Like real life.
Yeah. But there are things, and I don't want to give too much away, obviously, because there's some sort of set piece things in the first few hours of the expansion that I played. Basically, we played it from the start to about 3 hours in. There are things that happen in there. They're like, oh, right, this has got a slightly different tone. This is a bit more playful.
Okay.
It's like because you've got the last expansion coming out, which, as far as we know, may well be the last Geralt game that CD Projekt does, if not the last Witcher game, because I gather they do want to do stuff in the universe, but this will be like, this is the end of Geralt's story. It kind of feels like, the best way I came up to describe it, which is a bit niche, but it's like the fun Doctor Who episode before the season finale where everything goes to shit.
Right.
So it felt a bit like, because you see Geralt smiling and laughing, and I'm not going to explain why. There's also a really, and I don't think this is too much of a spoiler, there's also a really kind of clever twist that kicks off the whole adventure, where you're told that people are being, that women are being told to go into the sewers to find a toad to kiss to turn into a prince.
As you do.
And you think so obviously that's playing with some folklore, but it's just a story that's being, that's just a story that's building up around this series of murders. But the way it actually twists that back is quite something. There's a lot of really fun things that they're doing with it, and of course, in the context of that fun, obviously, people are getting murdered and there's bad stuff
Very
happening.
serious edge going on at the same time.
Yeah, it's all about, that there is a kind of angle to the story about how you live your life before you die, and it's just wonderful stuff. Like, it's really good stuff, and it's as high. It wouldn't be out of place in the main game, but it does have. You can tell that there is kind of a different slant to it.
Are there any callbacks to stuff you did in the main game, or is it pretty
Oh
much?
yes,
There is, right.
there are callbacks. Yeah, I mean, in fact, there are a few major ones. Again, I'm wary of spoiling people, but there's actually a bit where a character turns up. I'm not going to say who, from quite early on in the main Witcher story, and your dialogue options. He basically comes into frame and goes, "Do you remember me, Geralt?" And your options are no or ah.
So there you go.
So there's loads of callbacks. There's sort of, they're doing interesting things with like some factions and some characters that show up. You're not quite sure of the motivations of some people versus others. It's all good stuff. It's
How
all
much,
Witcher.
how much does it cost?
I don't know.
But there is a cost to it.
Yeah, there will be a cost to
Okay.
it. Yeah.
So do you think would you say there is a? Is it worth it? Basically, is it worth the amount of money?
Yes,
Or what would you put?
absolutely.
What monetary value would you put on it?
You put me on the spot now, Miller. I feel like I
that's
should
what I
know that. I suspect it's probably about a tenner.
Which I think is probably
I
for
would
10
say-
hours of The Witcher 3.
I would say it's worth it. Yeah. I mean, of course, it'll be more than 10 hours because there's
Side
loads
quests
of
and-
side stuff that goes on there along with the main stuff.
So it's out 13th of October, which is pretty soon, really.
13th,
Only a
yeah.
couple of weeks, and you get the thumbs up from Jim Trinker at this stage.
Absolutely, I think it would get the thumbs up from anyone who played and enjoyed The Witcher 3, as you would expect. But you know, there's always a worry with an expansion that it's not going to be as good or it's going to be filler.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Stuff left
It's
off the floor.
fantastic stuff.
There we go. Witcher 3, couple of weeks. Get your pump goggles on.